What's up, guys? RozXNoV here. Uh, I decided let's do a Pokemon Nuzlocke. Not just any Pokemon Nuzlocke, though. We're doing a Pokemon randomized Nuzlocke. Rules are simple. Uh, the level cap is 5 above the gym leader's level, and well, everything's random. Well, typical Nuzlocke rules, I suppose, as well. But the rest of those should be down in the description below if you want to check up on those rules. Anywho, hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna go through this. Right off the bat, we are given the choice between 3 Pokemon, Weavile, Aeron, and Swirlix. I hesitate because I want Aeron so badly. Aeron's one of my favorite Pokemon, but the obvious choice here is Weavile. High speed, high attack. It's a really nice Pokemon. We end up naming it Quirk, based off of all past experiences. It's just a go-to name I have. It has an up and attack nature, lower in defense with heavy metal, doubles the Pokemon's weight, useless ability, but like, whatever. So next we then end up battling the first rival battle. They end up sending out a Swirlix here, and I got the Weavile. Of course, I neglected the Swirlix choosing of Pokemon because, well, it's a Swirlix. I don't understand. Do I need to do it myself here? But anyways, it ends up going for Sweet Scent, harshly lowering my evasiveness. I'm like, whatever. It would have been nice to have Sweet Scent, get the Horde encounters, but whatever. Then I freak out. This is the point here where I freak out. I'm like, crap, does Scratch do more? Because I realize that Fairy type may or may not be super effective against Dark type. So, out of complete sheer panic, for some reason I think Scratch does more. So I end up using Scratch for the rest of the battle. It's not smart. He goes for the growth, get terrified even more, continue using Scratch, and then thankfully to stupid AI, it's uses growth again. Thanks to Quirk being the speed king he is, he ends up scratching him one more time, ending up winning us the first rival battle. We go to the first route eventually after a few pit stops and end up with our first encounter, a Victini. Victini is a really nice special attacker with super nice speed and, well, V for victory, am I right? We're going to end up trying to catch this. I use quick attack trying to lower it, and then at this point I realize, wait a minute, I just wasted my time because the first route has a 100% catch rate. So I end up throwing a Premier Ball that I ended up getting from buying 10 Pokeballs. Just wanted to give Victini a nice Pokeball that I can send him out in. After we catch it, we end up naming it Dexter. It's at this point where I end up thinking maybe I should start naming it after dogs. Oh well. I end up getting it, and it has a lower special defense, up in speed nature with Unaware, and boy, Unaware can be so useful. End up in the forest, get our second encounter, a Machop. Machop here is fantastic for us, specifically because, while we have not really good coverage at this moment, super weak to rock, and thankfully, Machop, with its fighting type, can easily counter the rock types we will struggle against. So, end up lowering it, throwing a Pokeball, thanks to Machop's very willingness? I don't know. We end up catching it. We end up naming it George, trying to keep it going on the whole dog names thing, and yeah, we get Poison Heal, up in attack and lower in special defense nature. Get super excited about this, especially if I can find a Toxic Orb early. That would be fantastic. But we move on. We move on to the next route, in which we encounter a Uxie. What is with me and small legendaries at this game? I end up accidentally killing it, though, after spending an hour trying to catch it. Whatever. We end up running into this random trainer, whatever, but then they send out a Volcanion. Volcanion can possibly sweep my team. If you look at this, Volcanion is water and fire type. Counters both Dexter and Quirk, but not George. So at this point, I decide it's probably a better idea to send out George here. So I send out George, thinking he can tank probably 3 and end up killing Volcanion. That's not the case. The Volcanion ends up doing a very large chunk of our health. That gets damage from recoil, and now I'm freaking out. There's no way to actually successfully just kill this without probably losing something, especially since it ended up confusing me and I hit myself. What is my luck right now? So I end up switching out, going to Dexter, thinking it'll use a Flare Blitz again. Hopefully then we can use some confusion, and oh no, that's Steam Eruption. Oh lord, that was a lot of damage. I end up just thinking, I'm faster. I can use confusion. Maybe it goes for Flare Blitz again, or confusion, and so we use confusion. Hopefully, he would confuse me. Nope, goes for Steam Eruption for the kill. It's unfortunate. So our Victini goes down after not seeing very much of the light of day. We send out Quirk, Speed King, knowing that he's low, just end up quick attacking him, getting him out of here. Never want to see a Volcanion ever again in my life. Oh, Iron Barbs too, gosh. We end up, thanks to Randomized Marts, get a Gangarite from a random Mart. It's very nice. And we move on to our next encounter, a Clang. We catch it, name it Steve. We lost the naming thing. We lowered an attack nature up in defense with Water Veil, preventing getting a burn. I'm very excited for this boy. Very tanky boy. Anyways, we go to challenge the gym, and we end up finding a Domfan in one of the gym trainers. We have a blaring ground weakness right now. With a metal steel type being weak to ground, fighting type weak to ground, and Weavile weak to ground, and rock. Domfan here was very scary, especially since it lowered Steve's speed. I had to get it out of there. So I ended up going to George, thinking I can one-shot it, right? From this range, I have to be able to one-shot it. So I switch out to George, and Domfan, thanks to its terrible AI, used Misty Terrain. This might be a good time to explain that I enabled TMs for trainers, for enemy trainers. So the enemy trainers can teach Pokemon any moves they can learn by TM. This is also where we learned that Domfan has Defiant. Well, not Defiant. What was the other one? Contrary. So it ends up gaining speed because of my Machop. But the Machop thankfully ends up killing the Domfan. We end up going against Viola. And Viola sends out Braviary. It's at this point where you realize that I left Machop, or George, back in the box. That was a complete accident. But however, I end up thinking this is perfect. I got electric type moves, this is Braviary, and Whirlwind. Bye. Quirk comes out. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna feint attack, Speed King, go for the kill. And it thankfully took out the Braviary. Next up, getting to level, and guess what they sent out? Well, after thankfully learning Icy Wind, I forgot. Icy Wind's so useful. Finally, our first ice type stab move. Steve levels up, and they end up sending out a Regirock. I think, alright, ice types are strong against rock types, right? Because it's rock is strong against ice, and ice is also strong against rock. No. I got the speed down, but then he ends up using Lock On. I'm like, oh crap. I also remember Regirock might have Explosion. So I try to go for a feint attack, seeing how much this does, because I'm terrified this Regirock could possibly sweep me. uses Zap Cannon. Quirk ends up getting paralyzed from this. And I'm just freaking out even more. Thinking, alright, I need to go for the Icy Wind again. Need to lower its speed. Goes for Zap Cannon again. I get flinched. I try one more time, and Regirock switches to Stomp, which does a decent portion of my health. Fully para, then ends up forcing me to switch out to Steve. At this point, my general Pokemon knowledge is just out the window. I don't know what I'm doing, so I end up trying to use Gear Grind, and to my surprise, it did a lot of damage, and I was confused. And then I realized that it was super effective, and then I start crying. Not really, but you get my point. So, thankfully, our Steve boy is able to put up with this Regirock a little bit longer, especially considering it doesn't have any ground type moves, it looks like. Even with the potion, the Regirock was not able to withstand our Steve boy. Steve and Quirk end up gaining a level or two. Very nice, considering that these are our two main Pokemon we're gonna end up using from here. Machop is nice, but without the Toxic Orb, it's you know what I mean. So we end up finding ourselves with our first badge, and then also we end up getting the TM knockoff, in which we for some reason never teach to anyone. Our next encounter was a Swirlix. Yeah, no, Swirlix is useless. Let's just kill this thing with Gear Grind. Let's get it out. Leave. I don't want you here. Leave. Screw you. Thank you. Alright, bye. Then we end up getting an TM for Brave Bird, challenging Manager Zoe. And, well, his first Pokemon he sends out is Lucario. Mega Lucario. And my lead is Steve. You can see the problem here. Lucario's ability is Sandstream goes off, Sandstorm comes off, and I decide best way to get out of this is to send out George. Because thankfully to Lucario's Steel typing, we can super effective damage. It stupidly goes for Detect, as George, we end up using Karate Chop. Lucario goes for Metal Claw, no speed boost, no attack boost, thankfully, and then we also end up one-shotting the Lucario with a critical hit. Yay, George. George and Steve end up gaining a level there. Really nice. Sandstorm buff hurting our Georgie there. End up trying to send out Lantern. I don't have any super effective moves against a water electric type right now. So my best bet is just to go to Steve and Vice Grip. Just resist most of Lantern's moves and to just keep trying to smack it. Hopefully it'll just eventually die, and thankfully it does end up falling down to Stevie boy. Next up, Sandstorm subsides, and next up they send out a Skrelp. Not much to say here. Skrelp is still a water poison type, doesn't gain its dragon typing until after it evolves. So, few Thunder Shocks, and we get it out of this. I love Skrelp, though. Can I get a like for every person who likes Skrelp as much as me? We end up getting our second choice of starters, and, well, gosh, I spent a while trying to debate which one I get, specifically between Articuno and Charizard, Mega Charizard X. After much consideration, we end up going for the Mega Charizard, naming it Clark. This is officially where we're just dropping the dog names. With its up in speed and lower in special defense nature, and the strong jaw ability, this Mega Charizard is going to be a valuable asset to our team. In the next route, we're battled by one of our rivals who sends out a Mawile. And, well, we have a Mega Charizard leading. We end up using Ember, thinking I can one-shot this thing. No. Use Play Rough. I'm terrified. Dragon Fire. Wait. Not super effective? Honestly, I don't know what happened there. I'm going to end up checking out Mawile's ability, see if it's normalized. But, anyways. We use Honey now on this route, trying to get as much choices for our encounters as possible. With a lovely Horde, looking at that, we end up trying to go for Quilladin. Catching the Quilladin, we end up naming it Victor. B. Thinking back on it, that probably would have been a better name for a Victini. We end up getting it, up in attack, lower in special defense nature with Harvest. It's very nice and it'll be very useful in our upcoming battles. With that, we conclude our first ever episode of this randomized Nuzlocke of Pokemon X. And, well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to continuing this project and, well, having a blast. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.